Sisters and brothers, we are about to start. Um, the focus of the meeting is what is on the poster, which is expressing the concern, the anger, the outrage, the questioning about the behaviour of the people running your party, in terms particularly to look at the poster, the decisions they've taken about bans and prescriptions, which we, as the Campaign for a Mass Workers' Party, oppose, of course, the bans and prescriptions. And we're also very concerned, just to pick out one other issue. I'm not going to speak for long because I don't want to preempt what comrades are going to say. But the other issue is about the oversight of the election. So there's a whole number of concerns. Conference decisions not being upheld, no complaints process, etc. So that's all I want to say at the minute. And the speakers, I'll take them in this order. By the way, April Ashley got in touch with me about 20 minutes ago and she's been held up at work. So unfortunately, April Ashley of the Socialist Party cannot make this meeting tonight. So the meeting will be starting with Ian Spencer. Secondly, now Ian is a candidate for the CEC for the North East. He'll be followed by Nora Everett of the Campaign for a Mass Workers' Party and the Barnsley Your Party proto branch. And the final speaker, before we throw it open, will be Ian Drummond, who's a CEC candidate for Scotland. And they've got 5 minutes each. This is a fairly small meeting. There's so many meetings, aren't there? Fairly small meeting, so we'll be fairly relaxed about things. But so far, 5 minutes for each speaker, and see if we can keep the contributions down to about 3 minutes. Now, the meeting started at 6:30. Will probably end by 8. And it's over, Ian. Over to you as the Ian Spencer as the first speaker.
Um, right, there we go. Start my stopwatch. Thank you, comrades. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, where to begin? As you know, initially something in the region of 80,000 people were interested in joining your party. What it now looks like is that there's probably around 50,000, but maybe only 25,000 of those are verified. There's a whole kind of weird kind of thing that they do. And what it's developing into is a kind of straight fight. It's a straight fight between those who want a Labour Party 2.0 under the slate of the many and the Grassroots Left Slate and allied to Zara Sultana and the many, of course, allied to Jeremy Corbyn. And from the outset of the inaugural conference, as you know, there were people who were prevented from attending the conference because they were in counterfire. There were people who prevented from attending the conference because they were in the SWP and so on and so forth. And that kind of skullduggery is carried on into the electoral process, where I and Ian Drummond and others were barred from standing as candidates for the CEC on the Monday and had to kind of go through a formal appeals process. And by Wednesday, I'd found out that that appeal was successful. I mean, there's a part of me which would have liked to have just said stuff it but as it happens, I had resigned from the CPGB for different reasons, nothing whatsoever to do with standing for this post in my party. Um, but nevertheless, I had the email, so I sent it to them, and that was successful. Um, Others were not so fortunate. People who, Dave Nellis, for example, wasn't allowed to stand. which is a travesty by any standards, whatever one thinks of his politics or anything else. I think he had a perfect right to stand, and others too. So now it's the case that all the people who were on the many slate have all got their 75 endorsements and are all over the line. And the same is true of the Grassroots Left Slate. Every one of our candidates is over the line. Just and that's happened today with Myra Shocko in the Northeast. There are also a slack handful of independents that have got over the line as well in various places. And I think there probably will be one or two people even in the Northeast that will get over as independents. So there will be a fight. And as I say, it will be a fight between those of us who want a mass socialist party and those who want Labour Party 2.0. Um, on on paper, there shouldn't be a contest in a sense. If you look at the many and look at what laughingly passes for their program, there isn't one really. There isn't a kind of well worked out program. Whereas for Grassroots Left, there is. It's not perfect, but nevertheless, it's a program, and it's unashamedly socialist. It's unashamedly internationalist. It's unashamedly anti-Zionist, and so on. And from that point of view, we should be able to give a good account of ourselves. Different parts of the country the Northeast is pretty undeveloped in terms of your party branches, in terms of whether it's proto branches or whatever. And a lot of it is basically being done on social media. This is a campaign which is going to be done via WhatsApp, it's going to be done via Facebook, and so on and so forth. And from that point of view, the slates have an advantage because we've got some kind of technical backup, we've got some technical support. And otherwise, what seems to be pretty successful is just going out face to face and talking to people, because I've found that useful when I go up to demonstrations in Newcastle, making my own leaflets and just dishing them out as I see fit, and just talking to people. I was at there's a demonstration by the right every week against asylum seekers, and there's a counter demonstration. Naturally, these are very small numbers, but nevertheless, I went and I was allowed to speak. And so these are things that have made a difference, and there will be more of it. So watch this space, and thank you again for inviting me. That was more than my 5 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Ian. And I'll give you a clap for your timekeeping.